base, secretive. Just finished watching X-Men Apocalypse with Matt. What's up? This is your second time seeing it. What did you think?
It's enjoyable still.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. I got mixed reviews on this. Like, I don't know. What I will say is I think Oscar Isaac and their depiction of Apocalypse was kind of off. I think that kind of was killing the movie for me.
I kind of pictured Apocalypse to be more menacing.
Menacing, yeah.
Like a giant, like, because he was like the same size as everybody.
Yeah.
And
But even that, I don't know. It just really felt like live-action Power Rangers. Like, it just felt like a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, I don't know. Give me some time. I need to think about this one because parts of it was good.
Yeah.
Parts of it was good, but a lot of it just was kind of, for me, was boring. Like,
I think like I always enjoyed the Quicksilver parts.
Quicksilver part was good. I think the entire budget of the movie was spent on Quicksilver.
But now you kind of get earlier when I said you kind of feel the fatigue after watching.
Yeah,
this.
it's superhero fatigue. I think one too many superhero movies this year, and it's kind of like if this came out. You know what? If this came out in February or before BVS and Civil War,
it would have been.
I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the plot was really simple, so it was kind of just like another superhero movie by the numbers, basically.
Yeah.
Nothing so special. Yeah.
It sucks that it had to compete with.
I agree.
The other two.
If this movie came out last year, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more, actually.
Yeah.
But now after Civil War, it was kind of like it wasn't so complicated, or it was just simple.
Yeah.
But I think Apocalypse was. Their direction was almost as maybe worse than Ultron, actually. I kind of feel like.
Yeah, because Apocalypse is supposed to be
menacing,
Thanos levels.
Yes. Like,
and yet he was taken out.
Yeah, easily.
If anything, I would rather that he gets defeated and runs away to fight another day.
All right, let me think about it some more, and I'll get back to you when I get home later. Peace.
All right, okay, guys. So I'm back home now. It's what time is it? 1:30 a.m. in the morning. Just took a shower and nice, relaxed, and let's talk about X-Men. Damn, people be opening up drinks here. Thank you. Anyways, overall, X-Men. Should you run out and see this movie? No, definitely not. Unless you are an extreme X-Men fan, that this is very similar. I think what it's really like. Who was I talking to? I think I was talking to I'm Dante yesterday because he was wondering if he should go see this movie. He said that it looked boring as hell, the trailers and such. And I was like, look, I think it's really gonna come down the same way BVS came down. Critics hated it. Critics are going to rate it low. Hardcore fans are going to love it because they finally get to see certain aspects they've always dreamed of seeing on screen. And mediocre or not mediocres, the in-between fans, that first weekend was going to be mixed basically. But I think in my opinion, and you know what, I'm still going to stick to mixed reviews. But from what I wouldn't be surprised if it just kind of, not flops, but it just has a very poor opening weekend or so, and it just might be like, you know, we hate to quote this feeling, but the burnout, like I just kind of got over, the Civil War high, right? The hype, right? But X-Men wasn't really a movie I was kind of rushing to see. I was kind of hoping I could kind of like wait and watch it, like, you know, in a month or so or something like that, because especially I think for me, it takes a little longer. Like it's actually kind of a journey. I either need to go to another country to see the movie on time, or I need to go through with another I need to go to another territory to see the movie. Either way, I need my passport. So luckily I was able to go to a military base to see this movie. However, it still takes, 2-3 hours to get home and whatever. So the journey for me is it's kind of tough. to avoid, just for the pure sake of avoiding spoilers, and you really want to know how good the movie is, be able to see it without any critiques in your head, right? I thought the movie, here's the deal for me, thinking about this on the train, I liked the movie, but I didn't love it. And I think if this movie had come out 5 years ago, I would have really liked it. I would have liked the idea. And I also think if this movie had come out without the other previous X-Men movies, certain ones like X-Men 3, Days of Future Ando Past, that's the Japanese title. But what was it called in English? X-Men Future, Days of Future Past, right? Anyways, if those sort of movies that kind of changed the standard or kind of changed the tone and certain things I hadn't seen already hadn't come out, maybe I would have really liked this movie, really loved the movie. I would have thought there was some impact, but I just felt like this movie actually lacked impact because I felt like there was nothing different being brought to the table, nothing special. It doesn't have to be risky. It doesn't have to be in your face. If I were to compare something, I would have to say this movie had almost the same challenges I feel like BVS had, in the sense that aside from BVS had a lot of hype to live up to, I just think that X-Men has a standard to kind of live up to at this point. Like, it needed to be just as strong as Days of Future and Past. And what I mean by that is the fact that when watching, I had the same feeling with that I had with BVS, without the same disappointment. I just was watching the movie, and there were points in the movie where I felt like I was like, okay, we're about to get on. Like, when you get on a roller coaster, or you're about to get on, like, okay, kids go away, but okay, all right, it's like when you're like making out with a beautiful woman, or you're about to go out with a beautiful woman, or you're getting a blowjob or something, right? And you're getting ready, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be so fucking good, let's go. And a little bit of it feels really good, right? And you're just like, oh, here we go, yeah, right? You're about to, right? And then they do something weird, or the momentum gets all fucked up, and you're just like, what? That's kind of how I felt, and I felt that same way with BVS, except that with BVS it was just like, what the fuck? Where are you going with this? Stop, like that, right? I never want to see you again, like that, right? Give me some lotion. You cut me deep, right? With X-Men, I feel like there was at least a story with X-Men, no problem. There was definitely a story with X-Men, but I just feel like they were trying to throw a lot in. Actually, they were trying to throw in certain plot points from other movies, or from other X-Men sagas, but they just didn't have enough, like, interesting characters for people to get, or at least myself, to really get attached to really feel for. I felt like there wasn't really anybody that I was really that interested in, and for some reason, every scene with what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, right? Jennifer J-Law, you guys call her. Every scene made me want to like punch her in the face. I don't know what it was. It was like these really cringe-worthy scenes that just never really felt right. Again, I was just like, wait, who are you? You're not my regular blowjob girl. You're not the regular girl. I'm not used to you. Why are you down here? Type of thing. Who said you could even do this like that? Who said you're in command? Like, there was just something really weird about her scenes that really I couldn't get into. It was really frustrating about this situation, and I didn't like the representation of Apocalypse at all. I feel like what's his name? Is his name Oscar Isaacs, right? Maybe Oscar Isaacs. I'm trying to check. But I know. I feel like he did the best with what they were trying to do with the movie, but overall, Matthew was showing me an image of what the one concept they were gonna roll with, I just felt like, from what I know of Apocalypse, Apocalypse is supposed to be the X-Men version of Darkseid or Thanos, right? Just this imposing what Thanos is to Avengers, Apocalypse is supposed to be for the X-Men in some form or fashion. It's this formidable big bad type of feeling, but what I kind of saw here was just this really older, like, maybe it was the children line all the time, but he almost looked like some kind of old grandpa pedophile all the time, like, my children, come to me, let me release your inner feeling deep below and draw it out of you. You want your candy? Like, just sometimes he was just this creepy old dude that was just going around touching his children, releasing their inner powers and shit, and touching them in special spots and making things come out of them, like when he was playing with Angel or Archangel at that point. It just felt like there were so many points where maybe somebody should have come around, and it felt like maybe they were on a tight budget, which is hard to believe though after Days of Future and Past. But I felt like there was just something they were missing here, like it could have been directed a little bit better. There were certain scenes like that. And there were points that I really enjoyed a lot in the movie, but like I said, they were kind of far and few in between, that a lot of the movie was just kind of straight boring sometimes, and I was just like, man, there's not really a driving force or momentum to keep this movie going for me, and every once in a while you pop up like, yeah, and then it would just kind of lose its intensity again with either cringy lines or actors that look like they were phoning in their performances sometimes, and that's what's really disappointing also, because there are some I felt like there were high caliber actors hired in this movie, but the lines and the dialogue just didn't seem strong enough for a strong story, basically. So that's my non-spoiler part of this movie, okay? I'm not going to make a separate video. Let's just keep on going. Spoiler sides, let's just talk about the main things. I thought Apocalypse's origin story, it was alright. I was actually kind of more intrigued about that in the beginning of the movie. I thought that was actually pretty dope. Like, the original Four Horsemen actually looked damn good, actually. Like, the original Four Horsemen in the movie, I would have actually rather them been reincarnated in some form or fashion with Apocalypse, because just his entire trip when he woke up just seems so strange and odd. I don't know how canon it is to the source material. Like, my idea of Apocalypse was always like his powers was always this particular way. I don't know if he was kind of like Deadpool or the X-Men, the Fox version of the original Deadpool, absorbing other people's powers over and over like that. I don't know how true that is to the source material, so I didn't mind it so much, but yeah, I also thought it was kind of funny that it was really similar to what the original Deadpool and Wolverine origins and such. But overall, like, I just, with Apocalypse, in every scene, just he was kind of walking around, he just never felt menacing at all, and it really did look like a high budget Power Rangers movie, basically, with a bunch of them on Rita Repulsa's cliff or something like that, when the Four Horsemen and were talking, and Apocalypse were talking to Xavier. It was just like, none of these scenes look like cool, and like, is it the delivery? Is it the lines? But like, I just wasn't that invested or like felt for any of the characters. And when I feel like when Apocalypse walks, the earth should shake just a bit, just like dum dum dum. But he just always, like I said, seemed like this really old creepy dude in the back, like like almost like Voldemort type of feeling, right? So I thought that was kind of strange. Wolverine made the cameo. By the way, the ending credits was kind of disappointing, like quite disappointing. But I don't know what it was. I also feel like maybe Bryan Singer was phoning this direct, because I felt like some shots seemed really like they could have been better. Even the scene with Magneto and his family, his second, third family, whatever, being killed. Even the way the arrow went off, like I just felt like it just could have been directed a little bit better when Magneto delivered his lines to God, saying, "Is this what you want?" Like what? Okay, it just certain scenes, shot placement was when Wolverine was our now Weapon X was being revealed. I was ready to go. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this shit. And then you just have this weird jump scene I thought could have been cut a little more or just a little faster. And I really feel that's what this movie was lacking a lot, was speed. Like you just wanted, like certain things needed to go through a lot, like just that scene didn't really take off the way I would have liked it to have. A little more faster, more intense. The way Wolverine was shot, like when he was in the camera, was laughable. On the security camera, he's in the face like, come on, like, albeit it was one of the most violent Wolverine scenes I've ever seen on camera. Some parts with the Weapon X, like I just wish they had painted it a little bit better to really make it take off. And I also think that there's at some point somebody probably should have rethought the Weapon X outfit just a little bit more. Like I appreciate that a lot of times they were trying to get things close to the comics for certain iconic scenes, but I also feel like at this point they do really need to think about how to ground it or make it just a little more believable, so to speak. I don't know. It looked, something about it just didn't fit as I in a sense. If I remember correctly, the Wolverine Origins, the way they did that story was done a lot better with him escaping the Weapon X facility. The way it was kind of done. The Quicksilver, I thought Quicksilver, that scene, I felt like the entire budget of the movie went into that one scene of Quicksilver rescuing all the kids really quick, and I thought that was great to see that. But at the same time, I also felt like, okay, it looks like they put their entire focus and the effort into this scene, so why do I feel the rest of the movie is going to kind of be like subpar? And I kind of felt like the ending, just the final battle scene, was done on a very small green screen at times. It was interesting to see the heroes, in a sense, heroes fighting heroes and such. Psylocke, for what it was worth, I guess it was okay. I was kind of expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. It would have been nice for more, but I'm not so surprised that the movie kind of ended up the way it did. I actually liked a bit of what Storm brought to the tables. This particular version of Storm, but again, some scenes just looked really poorly done in terms of the wiring, and this kind of very slow the way she would come in and do certain things. And I feel like they basically spent most of their budget involving Quicksilver. Anything Quicksilver was part of, they had to really make it look right. I think Magneto, Michael Fassbender, I think he does a good job, but I don't think it's just something about the way that the lines were done this time around. It just wasn't as good as Days of Future Past, and I guess that's basically it for spoiler wise. The Dark Phoenix thing, this is where the BVS thing kind of gets brought up into comparison. Like I feel like that, like it's almost like they shot their load a little too early with this one. Like, okay, I mean, we know Gene. It would have been kind of better if they hinted it a bit, just hinted it, but then it go full blown, like showing the Phoenix situation. It wasn't fully in there, but you know, for anybody that's already watched these X-Men movies, it's kind of like, okay, you're kind of going through some things. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I feel about this movie. Maybe, like I said, if it came out 5 years ago, maybe I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But I feel like the bar has been raised. I mean, I know we shouldn't compare everything to what Marvel is doing or what we just saw in Civil War, but at the same time, whose fault is it for releasing the movies so close to each other, or having to follow up? BVS might have been the opening act, or actually Deadpool was actually, Deadpool was kind of like that like the amateur unknown band type of deal, that like the house band, right? And you're like, God damn, where the fuck did this guy come from? BVS was the warm-up act, right? Civil War was the main event, and now we kind of are coming down with X-Men as to follow BVS, to follow Civil War. It's a tough battle, and I don't want to compare them. And if anything, I'm just comparing X-Men to the standard of comic movies now. I saw the whatever that Huntsman Winter War movie, whatever the fuck it's called, yesterday. In a sense, I think I enjoyed that movie a little bit more, even though it was predictable. I just think because I don't really have a set standard or expectation for what a movie like that should be, whereas with X-Men, this is kind of like, yo, Apocalypse, all right, let's roll with this motherfucker, I guess that's the same. Just imagine if Darkseid came out kind of flat, if Thanos comes out flat. That's kind of how I'm coming off of this movie, kind of just like, it was alright, but you guys could have done a little bit better if somebody kind of really sat down and really tried to make a script that hit hard. And for me personally, I don't think I've ever been much of a fan of this newer cast. I enjoyed the fact with what they did with Days of Future and Past, but I never really got into this new cast so much. I didn't really like First Class so much. And I think a lot of that for me is because of the fact that it's in the past, in this, even with the 90s feel, it's hard for me to really relate to any of this and kind of relate to any of these new actors or new characters so much, other than Magneto. But I feel like it was kind of so-so with what they were doing this time. It is also kind of interesting to see him keep fathering children, or at least keep on having these babies everywhere. My children. Okay, guys, I think that's about all I can really say about this movie. I thought the Stan Lee cameo was interesting. It was interesting, but again, the end credits was Mr. I didn't even know. I thought they were going to lead up to something about X-23, Wolverine's sister, kind of sister-in-law, daughter, kind of. I thought that they were going to lead up to something like that, and that would put some new blood, no pun intended, into the X-Men. But Matt had to explain to me that had to do with Sinister Six, and Mr. Sinister. I guess the final question is, do I feel that they should return Marvel? Should they give the rights back to Marvel? No, not really. I don't think they need something like that, but I do think they just need, I think they do need a different type of director that can do a faster paced movie. I think for what Bryan Singer has done, it's worked really well in the past, but I think at this point the momentum has shifted, and people, if the X-Men movies want to see themselves surviving in the next while, if they were going to see the next movie, I don't know, they're gonna have to go a lot faster than what they've been doing, and they're gonna have to pick up the pace a lot more. I'm so down with them getting into the year now, today, but I know they won't. What are we gonna do? Or is the next time we're gonna get the millennium, the year 2000? I don't know. I just think we need to get a little faster, and I don't really want to see a Mystique X-Men run story. It was cool to see the Danger Room. If they stop making X-Men movies, you know what? It's sad to say, I wouldn't mind. If they want to, I wouldn't mind. I'd be down for some sort of crossover between the Marvel universe and the X-Men universe. I wouldn't mind something like that. But I don't think we really need the inclusion of the X-Men in the MCU right now. I still have some sort of faith that if they're gonna do a Mr. Sinister story, they better really nail it and give us a villain that doesn't look so fucking corny this time around, because I think they really dropped the ball with X-Men Apocalypse, and I'll just leave it at that, okay? Red Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Did you see the movies this weekend? What do you guys think? Where do you think the X-Men franchise is gonna go? Are you interested in more X-Men movies? The trailers were very telling this time around. I think, and ideally, this entire year, the trailers have kind of been pretty predictable of how the movies are going to play out, with the exception of Suicide Squad. That's the one. I'm not exactly sure what to expect from that movie yet. I'm excited for it, my most anticipated movie of the year, but I'm not really sure what the tone, how we're going to come out with this movie. I hope it's great. I hope we end this year off strong, because so far, with Deadpool, Civil War, we've only had like 2 good superhero movies this year. So hopefully, Suicide Squad will be that one that'll keep the idea of a fatigue away. But I'm glad it's coming out in a little while, because I think I need a break for just some time. Alright guys, I'm out. Peace.
Alright, I've run out of patience. On to Ruth!